our curtain raiser event.
ऐसे ही होता है, रखा नहीं होता कभी डन है। एक रिस्पेक्ट होती है ना, आप उनके लिए आशर को लेके आएंगे ट्रे में। We have to say about the G20 summit and Y20 summit. I have written 8 pages for now.
No, just please. अच्छा आपने पूछ लिया, not more than one paragraph use.
Sir, this is what I.
आपसे G20 को इधर है.
हाँ, please. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our Honourable Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports, Government of India, Shri Anurag Singh Thakur ji. Can I request you all to kindly put your hands together and welcome him formally? Thank you, thank you. I would request all of you to kindly be seated. Thank you. Namaskar, good evening ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to all of you in the curtain raiser event of Youth 20 Summit India, organized by Department of Youth Affairs, Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, Government of India. It is indeed a proud and historic moment for all of us, as India has assumed the presidency of the G20 on 1st of December 2022 for a period of 1 year till 30th of November 2023. We'll have an array of meetings, pre-summits, summit discussions and debates throughout the year. And I would like to welcome our Honourable Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports, Government of India, Shri Anurag Singh Thakur ji on the days. Secretary, Youth Affairs, Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, Government of India, respected Srimati Meeta Rajiv Lochan ji. Joint Secretary, Youth Affairs, Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, Government of India, respected Shri Nitesh Kumar Mishra ji. And from Shyama Prasad Mukherjee Research Foundation, we have Y20 Secretary, Dr. Vijay Chauthaiwale ji, and Y20 Chair, respected Shri Anmol Sovit ji. So can I expect something from my audience here? We would also like to welcome our senior officials from the Ministry, members of Y20 Secretariat, participants, and all other who are watching us through Facebook and live streaming. And may I now request our Honourable Minister and all other dignitaries on the dais to kindly light the lamp and inaugurate today's event. Thank you so much, Honourable Minister, sir, and other dignitaries for doing the honours. And for the felicitation, may I request Secretary, Youth Affairs, Srimati Meeta Rajiv Lochan ji, to kindly welcome Honourable Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports, Shri Anurag Singh Thakur ji, by presenting a bouquet. Can we have the bouquets, please? So our Secretary, ma'am, Srimati Meeta Rajiv Lochan ji, is presenting a bouquet to Honourable Minister, sir. I'll now request Joint Secretary, Youth Affairs, Shri Nitesh Kumar Mishra, sir, to kindly felicitate Secretary, Youth Affairs, respected Srimati Meeta Rajiv Lochan ji, by presenting a bouquet. May I request Joint Secretary, Shri Nitesh Kumar Mishra ji, to kindly present a bouquet to Dr. Vijay Chauthaiwale ji, Y20 Secretariat, India Mentor. I now request Director Youth Affairs Pankaj Kumar Singh ji to kindly welcome Joint Secretary Youth Affairs Shri Nitesh Kumar Mishra ji by presenting a bouquet. I'll request Pankaj Kumar Singh sir to please welcome Y20 Chair Shri Anurag Singh Thakur by presenting a bouquet to him. Thank you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our cultural team will present a national song.
राष्ट्रगीत हेतु सभी अपने स्थान पर खड़े हो जाएंगे। अरे आती है सबको हिंदी ना क्या है?
वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम, सुजलाम सुफलाम मलयज शीतलाम शस्यश्यामलां मातरं वन्दे मातरं शुभ्रज्योत्स्ना पुलकितयामिनी फुल्लकुसुमिता द्रुमदलशोभिनी सुहासिनी सुमधुरभाषिणी सुखदां वरदां मातरं वन्दे मातरम् कोटिकण्ठ कलकलनिनादकराले कोटि भुजय धृतखर करवाले अबला के नो माए तो बले बहुबलधारिणी नमामि तारिणी रिपुदलवारिणी मातरं वन्दे मातरं तुमि विद्या तुमि धर्म तुमि हृदि तुमि मर्म त्वं हि प्राणा शरीरे बाहुते तुमि मा शक्ति हृदये तुमि मां भक्ति तुम्हारी प्रतिमा गढ़ी मंदिरे मंदिरे मातरं वन्दे मातरं त्वं हि दुर्गा दश प्रहरण धारिणी कमला कमलदल विहारिणी वाणी विद्यादायिनी नमामि त्वां नमामि कमलां अमलामतुलां सुजलां सुफलां मातरं वन्दे मातरं श्यामलां सरलां सुस्मितां भूषितां धरणीं भरणीं मातरं वन्दे मातरं वन्दे मातरं।
भारत माता की जय।
And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the welcome address, may I request Secretary Youth Affairs, Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, Government of India, respected Srimati Meeta Rajiv Lochinji.
Honourable Minister, Youth Affairs and Sports, Anurag Singh Thakur ji, dignitaries on the dais, friends. Friends, it's my privilege to welcome all of you for today's curtain raiser function. Friends, the Youth 20 Engagement Group will be holding country-wide consultations in the succeeding months. Youth are the future of this country, and as such, it is in the fitness of things that they have a say in what the shape of that future should be. And therefore, we are planning to organize consultations not just in the major cities, but in different locations pan-India. So there will be 20 international events where there will be participation by international delegates, and in the specific locations where the international events will be held, the host governments and the host universities will be holding discussions and declamations in schools and colleges in the district, at the district level, on the themes which have been selected for the Youth 20 group. So the 5 themes that have been identified, the future of work, Industry 4.0, innovation and 21st century skills, climate change, peace building and reconciliation, then shared future, youth for democracy and governance, and health, well-being and sports. All these themes have been selected from the point of view of their great relevance to our collective future. We request all those present in today's function to spread the word and see that everyone gets to know about this and they see it as an opportunity to articulate their views. India has been known for stakeholder consultations and has an ancient tradition of democracy. It is therefore in the fitness of things that very widespread consultations be held, which will be held both in physical and in virtual mode. So with these words, I welcome all of you once again, and we look forward to the discussions to follow. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Srimati Meeta Rajiv Lochanji, Secretary Youth Affairs, Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, Government of India. And ladies and gentlemen, now for the address, may I invite Y20 Chair, respected Anmol Sovichi.
भारत माता की वंदे वंदे। परम वंदनीय मातृभूमि, मंच पे उपस्थित युवा खेल मंत्रालय के आदरणीय मंत्री श्री अनुराग ठाकुर जी, आदरणीय विजय सर सहित सम्मानित मंच और इस सभागार में उपस्थित सभी सम्मानित साथीगण। साथियों, मैं अनमोल सोभित Y20 के चेयर अध्यक्ष होने के नाते आप सभी का पुनः इस कार्यक्रम में हार्दिक अभिनंदन एवं स्वागत करता हूं। साथियों, आज के इस ऐतिहासिक कार्यक्रम में मैं अपने वक्तव्य की शुरुआत आदरणीय हम सभी के आदर्श हमारे प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के उन शब्दों के साथ करना चाहूंगा जो उन्होंने युवा दिवस 2022 में कहे थे। आज पूरा विश्व भारत को एक आशा की दृष्टि से देखता है, एक विश्वास की दृष्टि से देख रहा है। क्यों? भारत का जन भी युवा है, भारत का मन भी युवा है, भारत अपने सामर्थ्य में भी युवा है, भारत अपने सपनों में भी युवा है, भारत अपने चिंतन में भी युवा है, भारत अपने चेतना में भी युवा है। इतनी बड़ी युवा आबादी के साथ साथ हमारे लोकतांत्रिक मूल्य हमें सबसे अलग अभिन्न करते हैं। साथियों, आज Y20 के कार्यक्रम के इस अवसर पे Y20 अध्यक्ष होने के नाते ये मेरा कर्तव्य है कि मैं आप सभी का ध्यान इस ओर आकृष्ट करूं कि G20 समूह के जितने भी देश हैं, अगर हमारे पड़ोसी मुल्क चाइना को अलग कर दिया जाए, उसकी जनसंख्या को अलग कर दिया जाए, तो हमारे भारत के युवा अन्य देशों की जनसंख्या से ज्यादा है। यानी कि क्या इसका मतलब, अभी तक जितने भी Y20 सम्मेलन हुए होंगे उससे अलग और उससे प्लस हम करेंगे। ये विश्वास है और इस विश्वास के साथ मेरी पूरी टीम ने Y20 कार्य योजनाओं को बनाया है। आने वाले समय में गुजरात से लेकर अरुणाचल प्रदेश तक, कश्मीर से लेकर कन्याकुमारी तक, भारत के हर एक शहर, हर एक गांव, हर एक नागरिक तक Y20 पहुंचे, इसके लिए हम पूरी तैयारी कर रहे हैं। एक युवा सोच, युवा नेतृत्व के मार्गदर्शन में हमारा देश जैसे आगे बढ़ रहा है, वैसे ही Y20 एक अलग कीर्तिमान Y20 प्लस साबित होगा। Y20 2023 अपने आप में एक अलग मायने रखता है। जब भारत G20 की अध्यक्षता कर रहा है तो ये Y20 एक पीपल मूवमेंट है, एक जन आंदोलन के रूप में हम इसको आगे ले जाएंगे। आज डिजिटल इंडिया में डिजिटल Y20 की भी कल्पना की जा सकती है। विगत 8 वर्षों से जिस प्रकार यशस्वी प्रधानमंत्री जी के नेतृत्व में हमारे देश ने डिजिटल क्रांति हुई, उस क्रांति के पथ पे चल के हम डिजिटल Y20 की कल्पना कर सकते हैं और उसको क्रियान्वित करेंगे, ये विश्वास है हमें। आप सभी सोच रहे होंगे कि कैसे हो सकता है। हो सकता है साथियों। हम सभी ने बचपन में एक कहावत सुनी होगी, करत करत अभ्यास के जड़मती होत सुजान, रसरी आवत जात है सिल पे पड़त निशान। यानी कि एक रसरी निर्जीव वस्तु जब पत्थर पे निशान खींच सकती है, तो हम तो एक लोकतांत्रिक मूल्य के देशवासी हैं और एक युवा सोच वाले नेतृत्व के देशवासी हैं। हमारे पास युवा सोच वाला नेतृत्व है, हमारे पास डिजिटल इंडिया है। हम डिजिटल Y20 करके दिखाएंगे। हर एक जन जन तक पहुंचने का जो सपना है, भारत के हर एक इंस्टीट्यूशन, कॉलेज, यूनिवर्सिटीज, स्कूल्स के माध्यम से हम हर एक भारतीय युवाओं के विचारों को, सपनों को अपना मंच देंगे। साथियों, मैं आप सभी से अनुरोध करना चाहूंगा कि Y20 इंडिया को एक युवा आंदोलन बनाने में अग्रणी भूमिका निभाएं, जिससे भारत की युवा शक्ति पूरे विश्व की युवा शक्ति को नेतृत्व कर सके। इस आग्रह के साथ मैं अपनी वाणी को विराम देता हूं। जय हिंद, जय भारत, भारत माता की।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद श्री अनमोल सोवित जी, Y20 चेयर, इतने जोश से भरे आपके उद्बोधन के लिए। And ladies and gentlemen, the Youth 20, that is Y20, is one of the official engagement groups of the G20. Y20 Youth Summit is a platform which brings young leaders from across G20 countries to discuss and debate the G20 agenda. And I would like to share with you that Y20 is represented by diverse youth representation across India. As you just heard, Y20 Chair Shri Anurag Singh. Then we have participant Shakti Singh. Are you all around? Participant Niveda Kartipan. Participant Felicitation. Participant Naveen Kumar Gowda. And Secretariat is Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee Research Foundation, from which we have Vijay sir with us on stage. You all can come onto the dais. And I would also like to mention members of the Secretariat who are Ajay Kashyap, who is the convener, Akash Jha, his Secretary Programs and Logistics, Drishti Rawal, Secretary Policy and Research, Abhishek Malhotra, Secretary Partnership and Finance, Valentina Brahma, Secretary, Arya Jha, Secretary of Communications, and Om Priyadarshi, Treasurer. So it's a historic moment, and all our participants and secretaries want to have a photo op with our Honourable Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports, Shri Anurag Singh Thakur ji. Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, may I now request Honourable Minister Shri Anurag Singh Thakur ji to kindly launch the logo of the Y20 Summit India. Thank you so much, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, as you know, in this curtain raiser event, and in the first session of this program, we have launch of the website also. So I would request Honourable Minister, sir, to kindly launch the website also, sir, please. So this is the website of the Y20 Summit India. And may I now request Honourable Minister, sir, please, to kindly release the theme of the Y20 Summit, please.
भारत की G20 अध्यक्षता की थीम वन अर्थ, वन फैमिली, वन फ्यूचर, इंक्लूसिव, एम्बिशियस, डिसिसिव और एक्शन ओरिएंटेड होगी।
Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi declared the theme of G20 2023 as Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, which means one earth, one family, one future. Once an inspirational phrase, sky's the limit, has become limiting in today's age and time. Youth of 2023 aspires beyond the skies. They want to do and achieve the unthinkable. The power to create is the most sacred power humans have been bestowed with. According to ancient beliefs, the universe comprises of 5 fundamental elements: earth, water, fire, air, and space. The design language of Y20 India also reflects this belief, the Pancha Mahabhutas. The 5 themes of Y20 India are: Number 1, Future of Work, Industry 4.0, Innovation and 21st Century Skills. Number 2, Climate Change and Disaster Risk Reduction, making sustainability a way of life. Number 3, Shared Future, Youth in Democracy and Governance. Number 4, Peace Building and Reconciliation, ushering in an era of no war. Number 5, Health and Well-being and Sports, Agenda for Youth. With the world striving towards a more equitable, peaceful and sustainable development, Y20 India is making sure young people are at the heart of that vision.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, I would humbly request Honourable Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports, Government of India, Shri Anurag Singh Thakur ji, to kindly address the august gathering.
Secretary Youth Affairs, Meeta ji, Nitesh ji, Vijay ji, Anmol ji, officers from Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, members from the Shyama Prasad Mukherjee Research Foundation, my dear young friends and friends from media, let me first thank you for joining us for this Y20 India Curtain Raiser program. This is a historic moment for India as the G20 presidency is being given to India, and the G20 presidency of India under the able leadership of Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji holds immense significance as it comes during the period of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, at a time when India also holds the chairmanship of Shanghai Cooperation Organization and have recently concluded its presidency of the UN Security Council. The G20 summit in India will bring together 43 heads of delegation, the largest ever in G20, who will be participating in the final New Delhi summit in September this year. It is significant to note that G20 meetings will not only be limited to New Delhi or metro cities, but spread across India to give a flavor of our diversity, history, and glimpse into our rapidly transforming states. Drawing inspiration from G20 presidency theme, which now we show to you, Vasudevaya Kutumbakam, One Earth, One Family, One Future, as well as the Prime Minister's vision of an whole-of-government approach, India will host over 200 meetings in over 50 cities across 32 different work streams. So, my dear young friends, in the Prime Minister's words, India, with the oldest known traditions of collective decision makings, contributes to the foundation DNA of democracy. As the mother of democracy, India's national consensus is forged not by diktat, but by blending millions of free voices into one harmonious melody. During our G20 presidency, we shall present India's experiences, learnings, and models as possible templates for others, particularly the developing world. India's G20 agenda will be inclusive, ambitious, action-oriented, and decisive. My dear friends, the future of the world economy and humanity lies in the hand of the young. Whether it's the millennial generation or the Generation Z, today's youth are born into a digital, globalized, and constantly evolving world filled with uncertainty, immense pace, potential, and limitless possibilities. The way our youth views The world is completely different from how their parents perceived it. Today, youngsters are restless and ready to make an impact in the world right here and right now. Our youth won't settle for the average and have triumphed through turbulent times to make their mark on the world. Look at your peers, the friends around you, young people across the world. For example, youth in Argentina take their sports very seriously, and their unwavering hard work and consistency and discipline in football sees the FIFA World Cup 2022 win. Youth in Sweden and Norway, perhaps Nordic countries as a whole, are vocal about the climate change and environmental sustainability. Youth in South Africa have shown a strong commitment towards achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. Youth in Japan regularly demonstrate efforts towards keeping their environment clean. And one of the examples were in the Football World Cup held in Russia and now in Qatar, where even if their team has lost, the players have cleaned the dressing rooms, and the spectators, the Japanese spectators who have come from Japan, have cleaned that area, leading a good example in all parts of the world. So youth from certain regions are risk takers, willing to explore the unknown. Youth from some other regions are busy traveling the world at a very young age, while others busy learning at the university, while some drop out of college to pursue their dreams in software, artificial intelligence, etc., to build unicorns. Our own Indian youth are deeply rooted in cultural ethos and social values. Our family bonds offers an unmatched social contract as we enter adulthood and imbibe lessons for life. Indian youth are emerging as pioneers and fast adopters of new technology. Our youngsters are leveraging technology and driving the startup culture, providing pragmatic solution to the socio-economic problems. Whether it is the social media-led social causes or the billion-dollar startups, India's youth is leading from the front. There is much to learn from the mutual experiences of the youth around the world during this landmark Y20 summit in India this year. Y20 is a unique opportunity for you to express your vision and ideas and come up with a series of recommendations which will be submitted to the G20 leaders. I firmly believe that young people are the stakeholders in the present and the builders of tomorrow. Youth will inherit the future they build. So use this opportunity to brainstorm and build networks wisely. Moving on, as economies around the globe are grappling with the multiple shocks, both economical and political, India stands firm as a democracy and an emerging economy. Even as the world increasingly looks inwards, safeguarding their own, India look outwards, increased outreach to support countries in need. The Sanskrit phrase, Vasudevaya Kutumbakam, is not some ancient civilization philosophy that India preaches, but actually practices it in spirit, followed by concrete actions and international aid and outreach during the COVID-19 pandemic. For an example, even though some doubt us, India surpassed the incredible figure of 220 crore vaccines. Not only did we give free vaccine to more than 100 countries, we also ensured a fully automated digital vaccination certification process. Many in developed countries today still carry the printed copy of their vaccination. So this past year, India attained the status of world's 5th largest economy. हम दुनिया की 5वीं सबसे बड़ी अर्थव्यवस्था बने हैं और उस देश को पीछे छोड़कर जिसने हमारे ऊपर 200 वर्ष राज किया, भारत फिर भी We are third globally in terms of number of startups. More than 77,000 startups in India now, with over 100 unicorns. जब दुनिया महामारी से लड़ रहा था, भारत के युवा अपने प्रयासों से, अपने पुरुषार्थ से, अपनी कंपनियों को जो स्टार्टअप्स थी, ना केवल उनको आगे बढ़ाया बल्कि इस कोविड काल में 50 स्टार्टअप्स यूनिकॉर्न का दर्जा प्राप्त की है और 100 से ज़्यादा यूनिकॉर्न्स आज भारत में है। ये अपने आप में बहुत बड़ी बात है। We are third most attractive investment destination for technology transactions in the world. Our UPI platform, if you have read the news recently, the transactions have crossed 7 billion last month. यानी कि 728 करोड़ से ज़्यादा ट्रांजैक्शन हुई और 12,82,000 करोड़ रुपए की ट्रांजैक्शन यूपीआई भीम प्लेटफॉर्म के माध्यम से डिजिटल ट्रांजैक्शंस हुई हैं। ये उस देश में जहां पर कहा जाता था कभी कि ये सपेरों का और भिखारियों का देश, वहां पर आज ही देखिए हम बहुत सारे देशों से आगे निकल चुके हैं। तो हमें अपनी उन बातों को बताना है दुनिया को जो हमने करके दिखाया है। India occupies the third rank in terms of number of PhDs awarded in science and engineering, and we are investing more in the science and engineering research and development. India has witnessed a steep increase in telephone subscriptions in the country. There is an exponential rise in the internet and broadband penetration in the country. Internet connections jumped from 25 crore in the year 2014 to nearly 90 crore in the year 2022. Broadband connection rose from 6 crore in 2014 to 81 crore in 2022. ये तब हो पा रहा है जब भारत टेक्नोलॉजी को उपयोग भी कर रहा है और भारत के युवा इस टेक्नोलॉजी के माध्यम से सर्विसेज देने का काम भी कर रहे हैं। और हमारी एक्सपोर्ट जो है वो $400 बिलियन पार कर चुकी है, जो आज तक का सबसे बड़ा होगा। और कुछ महीने पहले अगर आपने देखा होगा इंडिजीनियस एयरक्राफ्ट कैरियर INS विक्रांत, ये भी आत्मनिर्भर भारत की एक पहचान है जो नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने देश को सौंपने का काम किया है। हम गूगल मैप्स और बाकी सब एप्लीकेशंस को तो देखते थे क्योंकि वर्षों तक स्पेस सेक्टर को नहीं खोला गया, लेकिन अभी आपने देखा जैसे ही कोविड के टाइम पे मोदी जी ने स्पेस सेक्टर को खोला है, भारत की ही कंपनी ने रॉकेट लॉन्च करने का काम भी किया और बहुत सफल लॉन्च उसका हुआ है और दुनिया भर के कई देशों का लोड भी उस पर डालकर भेजा है। इसी तरह से डिफेंस सेक्टर भी एक तरह से बंद ही था, हम दुनिया पर निर्भर थे और आत्मनिर्भर करने का काम वहां पर भी किया गया। आज 400 से ज़्यादा प्रोडक्ट डिफेंस सेक्टर के हिंदुस्तान में बनते हैं। जहां भारत आयात करने वाला देश था, इस साल हमने लगभग 30,000 करोड़ का निर्यात करने की स्थिति में हम लोग आ गए हैं। तो जब दुनिया भर के देश के लोग यहाँ पर आएंगे तो हम ये भी कह सकते हैं, जहाँ एक और भारत ने खेलों में भी शानदार प्रदर्शन किया, हम ओलंपिक्स में भी आज तक के सबसे ज़्यादा मेडल जीतने में सफल हुए, पैरालंपिक्स में और डेफ ओलंपिक्स में। तो कॉमनवेल्थ गेम्स में भी जैसे शूटिंग इस बार खेल नहीं था, 16 मेडल हमारे उसमें थे लेकिन नहीं था, उसके बावजूद भारत ने 61 मेडल जीते और 22 गोल्ड जीते हैं, जो अपने आप में बहुत कुछ कहता है। और 73 वर्ष में भारत ने कभी बैडमिंटन में थॉमस कप नहीं जीता था, इस बार गोल्ड मेडल भी भारत ने उसमें जीतने का काम किया है। वी हैव प्रोग्रेस अक्रॉस सेक्टर्स टुवर्ड्स द गोल ऑफ आत्मनिर्भर भारत and with the spirit of Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat. I was reading somewhere that recently an Indian PhD student at the University of Cambridge had solved a puzzle that has been baffling scholars since the 5th century BC. That is the power of Indian youth. My young friends, India is the 1/6 of the humanity. शांति होगी थोड़ी सी 1/6 ऑफ ह्यूमैनिटी के नाम पे। Our country is diverse, democratic, and demand-driven. Our demographic dividend is uniquely poised to usher in an era of rapid social, economic, environmental, and technological innovation and advancement. It is fueled by the emotion, energy, and action of our young minds like you. The Y20 summit is a unique opportunity to allow the youth to provide constructive policy inputs and to utilize the platform to voice their opinions for the world audience. The U20 India Summit brings together the trustees of our future generations from across the G20 countries to deliberate, discuss, and decide innovative, sustainable, actionable solutions, especially in the realm of social developments. My dear friends, at the Y20 Summit, India will not only speak but also provide an audience to the youth from across the world to be heard in the world's largest democracy amongst those young leaders geared up with the baton to the future. That is why the 5 key elements of the Y20 Summit have been carefully chosen to deliberate upon for a shared future of our global community. These 5 themes present an extraordinary opportunity for you all to create, contribute, and collaborate to the development agenda of G20. Let me begin with the first one, the future of work, Industry 4.0, innovation and the 21st century's skills. As we move towards a digital, disruptive, demand-driven world, the skills of the future will be determined by the marketplace. If you are in a non-technology business, either you will be the force to adopt technology or be replaced by it. Careers in Industry 4.0 will shift like the marketplace, and the market will be driven by the technology and data. Your worth will be determined by your ability to keep pace with the changing nature of your work. Next is the climate change and disaster risk reduction, making sustainability a way of life. Apart from our efforts towards the renewable energy and building the global consensus with the Solar Alliance, Honourable Prime Minister Modi made the historical commitment for India to be the net zero by 2070 at the World Leaders Summit at COP26. It was the most bold and ambitious commitment made by any world leader at the COP26. Prime Minister Modi introduced the idea of life or lifestyles for environment. This is an agenda for the sustainable future for the world community. As the world grapples with the changing weather patterns, shifting crop cycles, flash floods, we are also seeing a generational shift in our daily lives. Little changes like the use of paper straws and jute bags, separation of plastic and recycled waste, vegetarian food preferences are also shaping up as a movement of choice amongst the youth. There is a lot India can offer to the world by means of sustainable living and living in the harmony with nature. Yesterday, on the day before, under the able leadership of Prime Minister Modi, India has launched the National Green Hydrogen Mission. India will be the global hub of green hydrogen. This will create the 6 lakh jobs in India and will attract 8 lakh crore rupees investment in the next 5 years. So these kind of efforts have been put in. ये केवल पर्यावरण को बचाने का काम तो होगा ही, ये जो हम दुनिया भर से फॉसिल फ्यूल इंपोर्ट करते हैं लाखों करोड़ का, उसमें कमी भी आएगी. 1 लाख करोड़ तो अगले 5 सालों में हर वर्ष 1 लाख करोड़ तो वही बचाना शुरू करेंगे. हमें गाड़ियां भी अब इलेक्ट्रिकल व्हीकल से हाइड्रोजन पर चलने वाली मिलेंगी और जो बस हैं, ट्रक हैं, रेलवे है, शिप्स हैं, ये सारे भी ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन पर भविष्य में आपको चलते दिखेंगे. इससे पोल्यूशन भी कम होगा. दिल्ली वाले तो इससे अच्छा और कौन जानता है पोल्यूशन को. सो फॉर सस्टेनेबिलिटी एंड द क्लीन एनवायरनमेंट, आई थिंक वी कैन showcase to the world that it is not only a commitment towards at the COP21 and the COP26 what we announced, but we are also living up to the expectations as we announced at that time. And the next is the peace building and reconciliation, ushering in an era of no war. I was in Assam yesterday. I told Mitaji that this is the area where we have the first meeting in Assam, Guwahati. And if you look at the northeast, the insurgency incidents have come down by 80%. And the civilian deaths have come down by 89%. There are peace agreements which happened in the last 5 years. We have a lot to showcase to the world that we not only talk about this, but we also practically implement these things. So I think that could be one of the interesting area which we should take up. As India has a long history of service in the UN peacemaking and peacekeeping, having contributed more personnel than any other country. In fact, over 2 lakh Indians have served in 49 of the 71 UN peacekeeping missions since 1948. Some of you would be surprised to know that Indian Army is the world's 3rd largest troop contributor to the peacekeeping operations. Currently, there are around 6,700 troops and police from India who have been deployed to the UN peacekeeping missions. India has also been progressively sending women personnel on the UN peacekeeping missions. We were also the first country to deploy an all-women contingent to the UN peacekeeping mission. This is our commitment to peace and stability around the world. It is a story of sacrifice and service worth telling at the Y20 events over the next few months. The land of Mahatma leads the world the India way. Next, the shared future, youth in democracy and governance. If you look at the world map, you will realize that India's firm commitment decade after decade to democratic process in neighborhood of turmoil is an example for the world. It is a beacon of hope that democracy can thrive and is strengthened by diversity, not weakened. Our regular cycle of elections from Pradhan level to the Member of Parliament to the Prime Minister have ensured a smooth transition of power. Our youth has displayed decisive ballot power in elections. This has ensured that they are key stakeholders in the country's future. Our participatory form of governance, enabled by the political youth wings, civil society groups, and digital platforms, has ensured a seat for our youth to be heard at every level. Even our electronic voting machine system, which you are all used to, unlike a lot of your Y20 counterparts, has served our democracy well. It is a success story worth sharing with our Y20 friends from across the world. And most importantly, health, well-being, and sports agenda for youth. Yoga has been practiced in India for centuries, has proved beneficial in maintaining a healthy body and mind. PM Modi proposed the idea of a yoga day in 2014 during his speech at the United Nations General Assembly. A whopping 177 member states voted in favor of the resolution, and the world celebrated its first International Yoga Day on Jan 21, 2015. आज मैं ये कह सकता हूँ, ऐसे बहुत सारे दिन यूनाइटेड नेशन द्वारा घोषित किए जाते हैं, लेकिन हृदय से अगर पूरी दुनिया किसी एक दिन को मनाती है तो योग दिवस है जिसको पूरी दुनिया 21 जून को मनाती है. And during the COVID-19 pandemic, you have seen how people believed in the traditional medicines. Traditional medicines, yoga and spirituality. This is the soft power of India. And we must speak about this during the Y20 events. India is both the land of spirituality and software. अनमोल ने डिजिटल Y20 की बात तो कही, तो आप डेमोक्रेसी का उल्लेख भी उस पर जरूर कीजिए, डिजिटल Y20 भी कीजिए, और स्पिरिचुअलिटी से लेकर सॉफ्टवेयर तक ये भारत की ताकत को इसके माध्यम से दिखाने का काम भी उसमें अवश्य करिए. Because India offers the world a soulful way to live in a world troubled by work pressures and mental health issues. This too something you can deliberate how to build a work-life balance for a better world. Globally, there are millions and millions of people who are asking for the treatment these days, and I think spirituality could be one of the ways we should talk more about it. So these priority areas for the Y20 summit point to the urgency with which the world has to reconcile with the reality of changing times in our quest to survive and thrive. This summit provides an excellent opportunity for the youth and the world alike to shape the way we evolve. I hope you will use the Y20 opportunity to also educate us and own the responsibility of ensuring that the declaration you finally present to the G20 leaders is one that fulfills the hopes and dreams of all the youth, rural and urban, and specifically putting focus on rural because India has a large population and especially the youth in the rural areas. We must touch upon the areas concerning them. So not only in India but in the developed and the developing world both. The Y20 is a brilliant way to amplify the voices of young people. The world will be listening to you very carefully. You have a seat at the table and you are being heard. I firmly believe you are trustees of the future who will uphold peace and ensure gender equality, mitigate climate change, and spread intercultural diversity, innovate with passion, and heal as you grow. You are the agents of change the world needs. An agent where A means, or the A stands for, advocate for a cause you believe in. G stands for go green and embrace a sustainable lifestyle. E stands for equality and inclusivity. Ensure that the spaces you are in are diverse, intergenerational, inclusive. N stands for nurture. Nurture your physical and mental health. T stands for tech innovation. Leverage technology for social good and betterment of humanity to enhance the entrepreneurial spirit. With this, I conclude and urge you to learn and share the best of India to the world over the next few months. And once again, I would like to thank the Shyama Prasad Mukherjee Research Foundation for all their valuable help, their inputs and helping us. And I also like to wish Anmol and his entire team good luck for this year 23. This is going to be the historic year for India to host the G20. And I'm sure with the Y20, we're going to have a lot of events, Y20 talks across the country. We can have the Y20 walks, we can have the Y20 talks, and finally the Y20 paper for the G20 group. Once again, wishing you good luck. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you, Honourable Minister Sir, for the address, for your valuable remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, Honourable Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports, Government of India, Shri Anurag Singh Thakur ji. And with this, we come to an end of our first session. But as you know, we have one more session to go, in which we have a panel discussion, how India can harness its youth population to be a superpower. So do join us after the tea break, here itself, 5:45 p.m. And for now, I would like to thank our Honourable Minister, Sir, Shri Anurag Singh Thakur ji, our Secretary, Ma'am, Youth Affairs, Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, Government of India, respected Srimati Meeta Rajiv Lochan ji, Joint Secretary, Youth Affairs, Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, Government of India, respected Shri Nitesh Kumar Mishra ji, and mentor from Shyama Prasad Mukherjee Research Foundation, Y20 Secretary, Dr. Vijay Chauthai Wali ji, and Y20 Chair, respected Shri Anmol Sobi ji. And I would like to mention that we have with us Shri Nagaraj Naidu ji, Joint Secretary, G20 Division of Ministry of External Affairs. Thank you for joining us, sir. So, thanks to all our dignitaries on the dais. Thank you so much. And I'm requesting all people, please, all of you, please do join us after the tea break at 5:45 p.m. in this hall, because then we'll have a panel discussion on our youth. Yeah. And as I've been told, for the participants, the tea arrangement is downstairs. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. This is a request to the people sitting upstairs. Please move downstairs on the first floor and take your seats here for the next session. Everybody sitting upstairs are requested to move downstairs, please. Everybody on the first floor are requested to come downstairs and be seated. Everybody please settle down. We're about to start with the program.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you once again in the curtain raiser event of the Y20 Summit India, organized by Department of Youth Affairs, Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, Government of India. And now we'll resume with our second and last session of the day, and we'll have a panel discussion on how India can harness its youth population to be a superpower. And as you know, in this session, our panelists will share their success stories. So I'm going to invite our first panelist onto the dais. May I request Dr. Vijay Chothaiwale, sir. Sir, I would request you to please come onto the dais. And ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Vijay Chothaiwale ji is in charge of Foreign Affairs Department of Bharatiya Janata Party. He is a molecular biologist and has worked in the pharma innovation industry for the last 2 decades. Welcome, sir. I would like to invite on stage Prashant Pitti, who is the co-founder of Ease My Trip, under whose leadership Ease My Trip became one of the few tech companies in the world that bootstrapped itself all the way till IPO. A graduate from IIT Madras, he has worked at Capital One and HSBC Bank in US before his entrepreneurial journey. Welcome to the program, Prashant Pitti ji. And I would now like to invite, we have with us Aman Giriji, who is a member of Legislative Assembly in the state of Uttar Pradesh. And ladies and gentlemen, I would like to share with you that he is the youngest member of Legislative Assembly in India. And he represents the constituency of Gola Gokranath, and he is a lawyer by profession. Welcome to the program, Amanji. And may I now invite Ajay Kashyap ji. He is the convener of the Y20 India Secretariat. He also serves as an Indian representative to the Commonwealth Youth Council, a graduate in law from Gujarat National Law University, and masters in public administration from University College London. Welcome to the program, Ajay Kashyap ji. And to moderate this panel discussion, I would like to invite Drishti Rawal ji. Drishti, she is the Secretary for Policy Research for the Y20 Secretariat. Yeah, please. You would be sitting or standing here? Oh, please, please. And she is a lawyer, one of the youngest empaneled lawyer representing Government of Madhya Pradesh. And she is a research assistant. She was rather a research assistant at the International Law Commission at the UN headquarters. So welcome to the panel discussion. And of course, now you are going to moderate. But before that, I would like to felicitate all our panelists. So I'll request Soham. Soham, आप आइए please और Dr. Vijay Chothaiwale जी का मंच पर स्वागत कीजिए. So Soham is presenting a bouquet to Dr. Vijay Chothaiwale ji. I would request Satvik to please come and welcome Aman Giriji. I'll now request Manav to please come and felicitate Prashant Pitti ji. I'll now request Shreya to please come and felicitate Ajay Kashyap ji with a bouquet. And please come Ashutosh and felicitate our moderator of today's panel discussion, Drishti Rawal ji. So Drishti ji, it's all over to you, please.
Namaste everyone, and a very warm welcome to all of you for today's panel discussion. My name is Drishti and I'm the moderator for this session. Well, it is a great pleasure both to participate in this panel discussion and also to welcome our guests. Today's panel discussion is aimed at exploring how India can harness its youth population to be a superpower, and also to draw focus on the principle of global good and welfare by making this an inclusive and participatory platform. India's most valuable asset, the youth, which make up for a fifth of the world's youth population, makes them a driving force for India's ambitions. And this is our opportunity to take the center stage and participate in critical discussions concerning the world at large. To lead this discourse, we are joined today by an esteemed panel. I welcome you all again. My first question is for our mentor, Vijay sir. So how do you perceive the transformation India has gone through as a country in the last, say, 8 years, post-2014? And as an observer, how would you reflect on the changes we see happening all around us, whether it is the health sector when we talk about Ayushman Bharat, or we talk about industrial skill development, or we talk about India's idea of spirituality making rounds around the world. I would want you to reflect on these major tectonic shifts that we are witnessing. If you could just throw some light on that.
Thanks for asking this very pertinent question. Friends, everyone was talking about India's demographic dividend for almost the last couple of decades. But no one has really tried to harness it the way Prime Minister Modi has done. So first of all, he has given the confidence in youth that they don't have to seek only appointment, they don't have to be the employment seeker, but also they can be employment generator. And that has created a startup revolution kind of thing, and we have a very classic example here in front of us. Prashant is a very successful entrepreneur who was working somewhere and then came out and started his own business, and very unique model in the crowded space he has created. So if you read, for example, India's Startup India policy announced in 2015, you will see many unique things in that which has tried to harness the startup potential in this country. And today you must have heard that in the wave of COVID, we had more than 30 unicorns in India, which is quite commendable in the world history. If you have seen yesterday's or last 2 days news coverage of Satya Nadella, he is also talking about the kind of digital revolution that has been taking place in India. Second part, I see that that while nurturing the startup ecosystem, the Modi government has also changed rules and laws and made the regulations much more easy to comply with. And that has also changed the atmosphere. One of the classic examples that if you have created the IP, intellectual property in India, and if it is in cash, then the tax structure is much less as compared to if you buy the foreign-owned intellectual property. So this also has made a significant difference. So this is one part. Second part is, while Indian youth are exploring new avenues, there is a tremendous sense of values and ethics among Indian youths. And that is also one of the things which you are seeing as a new pattern in India. And a lot of things have been done, including yoga days, people's awareness about the wellness, and also mental wellness, etc. These things are changing the way youth are behaving in a very positive manner, and it is harnessing a positive energy. So I think this is a combination of motivation, creating a conducive ecosystem, and changing the rules and regulations so that youth's energy can be harnessed for the economic growth, the well-being of a society, and therefore the development of the nation. This troika, which Prime Minister Modi has brought as a package, has seen the changes what we are taking place or what we are seeing in last 7-8 years.
Thank you, sir. So I also want to know your views on, we see that there's a spirit of nationalism across the youth in the last, say, a decade. And how, when you speak about ethics being really integral to India's idea anywhere, how do you say that India in this term can lead as an example to the world in terms of Y20?
I think one of the biggest change that has taken place in as far as the way world is looking towards India is that the value of Indian passport has gone up significantly. And that those who have traveled abroad, those who have interacted, will see it as soon as you meet the immigration officer of that country. So they are now looking Indians with respect, with the people who are law-abiding, the people who are contributing not only to the educated class of that country, but also wealth of that country. So all these are making a lot of difference. And many unicorns, for example, in US are now incubated by Indians or people of Indian origin. And youth have tremendous contribution to change this perception. I was surprised to know that in Germany now there are more than 20,000 Indian students. And because of this demand, now German universities are offering many courses in English, and that arrangement they have made specifically to attract Indian students. So people are now coming out with the new strategies to attract Indian youths. This will go to a next stage. Now, just today you must have seen the newspaper headlines saying that the new education policy will allow the top A-grade universities like Yale and Oxford and Stanford to open the campus in India. So students, they don't have to go and spend millions of rupees outside, but they will be able to have the world-class education and also the brand value of these universities in India. So these are many changes that have been taking place, and that is changed the perception of India.
Thank you, sir. I think for my next question, I would request Aman Giri ji. We see youngsters in India taking more interest, more profound interest in not just in politics, but also in policy making, which is in stark contrast to what we see in the Western world, with their youngsters losing interest in politics and lawmaking. As an active participant in India's democratic process, what do you make of this transformation?
Good evening to everyone present here in this auditorium, and namaskar to everyone sitting on the stage with me, sharing the stage with me. And thank you to the committee who has invited me. And for your question, I think our government has done a tremendous work here. Because me sitting here, if I say nothing and just be the example of what you have said, I think that is the answer enough for this question. Because I have never seen a government so much working towards the youth. We have been indulged. Y20 is being conducted over here in this country, where every youth has to इससे जुड़ना चाहिए और इनसे और ज़्यादा हमको सीखना चाहिए। Y20 में जो आज हम लोग अपनी सोच बनाएंगे, जो हम लोग सोच आज यहाँ पर रखेंगे, Y20 पूरे साल भर चलेगा। जो जो हम मुद्दे यहाँ पर रख के आगे तक ले जाएंगे, वो हम G20 में पुश करेंगे। G20 में पुश करने का मतलब है पूरे देश में नहीं, बल्कि पूरी दुनिया में अपनी बात को रख सकेंगे। इससे बड़ा उदाहरण, इससे बड़ा एग्जाम्पल हम लोग कहीं सेट नहीं कर सकते यूथ के लिए। मैं एक बात ज़रूर यहाँ पर इस मंच से कहना चाहूँगा, टू टीच द यूथ अर्ली। दिस इज़ द पर्सनल थिंग विच आई हैव फेस्ड, दिस इज़ द पर्सनल थिंग जो मेरे को हर जगह लगती थी, हर फील्ड में एक यूथ की बहुत बड़ी ज़रूरत है। टीच देम अर्ली से मेरा मतलब है कि wherever we go, wherever field we choose, either it be politics, we can be a professor, we can be a chef, we can be a swordsman, or whatever it can be, whatever we choose, हम लोग को सबसे ज़्यादा समय लगता है उस चीज़ को सीखने में, उस चीज़ का प्रोसीजर जानने में, उस चीज़ के लिए सही चैनल क्या है, किस तरीके से करना है, अपना काम कैसे कराना है। हम लोग के पास आज के समय में आर इंडिया हैज़ द मोस्ट, I'll say, abundance of youth. Abundance of youth means we are the most energetic and the most dynamic country amongst all nations. We have to channelize this power in a proper way. With this, I would also like to say that in order to channelize this power, we need our mentors, our ancestors, our elders to guide us like in every proper way. जो हम लोग को internships programs हम लोग को college में दिए जाते हैं, उन चीज़ों को हर एक field में उतारा जाए, ताकि हम जिस field में उतरें, हम लोग को ये सिखाया जाए कि इस तरीके से काम कराएं, इस तरीके से आप फंस जाएं, ये चीज़ बेहतर करी जाए.
Thank you. Well, now since we are talking about the aspirations of youth, I think we have a very, I should say, inspiring personality amongst us. The aspirations of the newer generations have witnessed a momentous shift, with many opting for less chartered territories of entrepreneurship. Prashant sir, from you, I would want to know that what was your mantra of success? How did you drive this wagon and saw it through? That's my question.
Okay. So before I answer that question, I would like to, tell you a backstory about myself and how things have changed since then. Graduated from IIT Madras, got a job in the US. हम 6 लोग गए थे इंडिया से to work for Capital One in Richmond, Virginia. I was the only one who did not apply for green card. होता है क्या है, H1B वीज़ा को आप 2 बार ही रिन्यू करवा सकते हो. You cannot renew it 3rd time. So 6 साल का upper limit होता है. Either you are on H1B for 6 years and then get a green card, या फिर वापस इंडिया आओ. I was the only one who did not apply for green card at that time. बाकी जो 5 लोग गए थे, सबने green card के लिए apply कर दिया था. I believed in India. I believed that this is the country to be in. This is the place to come back. And it was not कि मैं मातृभूमि के लिए कुछ कर रहा हूँ. Selfish मान लो. मुझे पता है सबसे अच्छी opportunity आज यहीं पे. उस टाइम भी पता थी, आज तो साबित हो गई है. उस टाइम पे मेरे एटलीस्ट IIT से 90 से ज़्यादा % बच्चे बाहर जॉब करने नहीं, पढ़ाई करने जाते थे. पढ़ाई जॉब बहुत कम लोगों को लगती थी बाहर सीधा. जो 90% बच्चे GRE लिखकर बाहर MS करने जाते हैं, वो वहीं पे फंस जाते थे. Now I can tell you this trend has completely reversed. Completely reversed. IIT, IIMs में nobody is looking up कि मैं बाहर जाके पढ़ाई कर लूँ. बाहर जाके अगर पढ़ाई भी करेगा तो वापस आएगा. मतलब हमारे सर्कल में अब ऐसा हो चुका है. And I'm telling you because you should know कि जो top tier colleges में if somebody is going out and is deciding to stay back, हम उसे थोड़ा नीचे ही आंकते हैं कि वो वापस नहीं आ रहा, तो उसमें कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं है कि हमारे देश में क्या क्या है, क्या क्या कर सकता है. एंड दिस कॉन्फिडेंस, हैट्स ऑफ टू द करंट गवर्नमेंट, जिन्होंने ये कॉन्फिडेंस हमारा 100 टाइम्स बढ़ा दिया है इन दिस कंट्री. आज से 4-5 साल, मतलब ज़्यादा टाइम पुरानी बात नहीं है, 2014-15 की बात बता रहा हूँ. देवर लेस देन 1000 स्टार्टअप्स इन दिस कंट्री एंड नाउ वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट 60-70,000 स्टार्टअप्स. मेरे हिसाब से ये नंबर भी कम है. I'll give you one Harvard case study. According to Harvard, 83% Indian graduates want to be an entrepreneur. भाई हम तो हैं ही entrepreneur, right? हमारे पास में कौन सी बहुत सारी सरकारी नौकरी थी पहले से. जो हमारे यहाँ रिक्शे वाला है वो भी तो entrepreneur है. The world average is 53%, while 83% Indian want to be an entrepreneur. आप इसको मैथ्स कर लीजिए, हर साल करोड़ों बच्चे ग्रेजुएट होते हैं. मैं कहूँगा अभी भी 60,000 बहुत कम है सर, अभी भी बहुत कम है. एंड इट इज गोइंग टू चेंज ड्रामेटिकली. आप अगले 5 साल का अगर मुझसे बेट लेना चाहेंगे, इंडिया विल हैव 500+ यूनिकॉर्न्स. यूनिकॉर्न्स की डेफिनेशन होती है जो 7,000 करोड़ की वैल्यूएशन पे होती है. 5 साल के अंदर इंडिया का अभी जो डिविडेंड है वो तो शुरू हुआ है. ये जो 100+ यूनिकॉर्न्स आई हैं इंक्लूडिंग आवर कंपनी, ये मेरे हिसाब से बहुत छोटा फ्रैक्शन है. आप इंडिया को अगर एक तरह से देखना चाहेंगे, आई एम टेकिंग लिटिल बिट मोर टाइम, आई होप यू डोंट माइंड. इंडिया को आप जो देखना चाहेंगे, मैं तो इसको एक यूरोपियन नेशन की तरह देखता हूँ. वी आर सो डिवाइडेड येट सो यूनाइटेड इन अ कंट्री. हमारे यहाँ तो हरियाणा से ही 2-4 यूनिकॉर्न बननी चाहिए जो सिर्फ हरियाणवी लैंग्वेज पे फोकस कर रही हैं. वो तो अभी शुरू ही नहीं हुआ है, वो तो अभी शुरू होना बाकी है. सेम गोस फॉर अदर लैंग्वेजेस. ये तो अभी जो यूनिकॉर्न्स बन रहे हैं ये इंडिया के लिए बन रहे हैं, भारत के लिए नहीं बन रहे. अभी तो भारत के लिए बनने शुरू होने वाले हैं. हमारी कंट्री के अंदर जो पोटेंशियल है, ये हमें बताने की भी जरूरत नहीं है. वी आर द बेस्ट इन द वर्ल्ड इन क्लास. हमारे यहाँ पे जिस तरह से एजुकेशन सिस्टम शुरू किया था, बहुत लोग बोलते हैं फॉरेन एजुकेशन. मैंने कंपेयर किया है, मैं रहा हूँ 4 साल यूएस में, मैं जानता हूँ हमारी जो एजुकेशन सिस्टम है, हमारा जो बेस है, वो अनकंपेरेबल है कंपेयर टू द वर्ल्ड. स्टार्ट बिलीविंग इन योर सेल्फ. और ये बिलीव तभी आता है जब आप बाहर जाके देख के आओ, कुछ साल रह के आओ, समझ के आओ. मैं अपने एक्सपीरियंस से बता सकता हूं, इंडियाज आर सेकंड टू नन. हमने जब शुरू करी थी कंपनी, एक छोटी सी ट्रैवल एजेंसी से शुरू करी थी. वी स्टार्टेड एज अ रेगुलर मॉम एंड पॉप ट्रैवल एजेंसी. इंडिया में लाखों ट्रैवल एजेंट्स है, वैसे ये एक ट्रैवल एजेंसी शुरू करी थी. 14 साल लगे. नाउ वी आर द सेकंड लार्जेस्ट ट्रैवल कंपनी इन इंडिया, और वो भी बिना किसी से फंडिंग लिए. वी ग्रू दिस कंपनी प्रॉफिटेबली ऑल दिस वाइल. उसका मेन रीजन ये है कि हमें अपने अंदर बहुत ज्यादा बिलीफ है. हमारे जो एफर्ट्स हैं, हमारे जो काम करने का तरीका है एज ए कंट्री में, वो बहुत अलग है. वन एडवाइस विच आई वुड लाइक टू गिव, सिंस आई एम स्पीकिंग मोस्ट ऑफ यू आर यूथ, मैं इस मंत्रा पे, सिंस नाउ कमिंग टू योर क्वेश्चंस, आई टुक सम टाइम. माय मंत्रा हैज ऑलवेज बीन बी मोर क्यूरियस देन कॉशियस. आई लिव विद दिस मंत्रा. गलतियां हो रही है, होने दो. द वर्ल्ड, द लाइफ, द नेचर इज पेइंग यू टू टेक रिस्क. रिस्क के लिए आपको जो वैल्यू मिलेगी, वो रिस्क लेने के लिए मिलेगी, आपके दिमाग के लिए नहीं मिलेगी. इंटरनलाइज इट. और आपकी जो लेगेसी है ना, योर लेगेसी विल ऑलवेज बी रिमेंबर्ड फॉर द लास्ट विन विच यू हैव. आप 100 मिस्टेक्स कर दो, आपको लोग याद नहीं रखेंगे. आपकी आखिरी जीत पे लोग आपको याद रखेंगे. एक कैरी मिनाटी है, बहुत बड़ा यूट्यूबर है. कौन कौन जानता है कैरी मिनाटी को? सभी जानते हैं. कैरी मिनाटी से पूछा गया था कि यार आप हर दिन वीडियो बनाते हो, आपको डर नहीं लगता कि आपकी वीडियोस पे व्यूज नहीं आएंगे, लाइक्स नहीं आएंगे, कमेंट्स नहीं आएंगे? कैरी का बहुत सिंपल जवाब था, क्योंकि वो बहुत सालों से वीडियो बनाता जा रहा है. उसका बहुत सिंपल जवाब था, जो भी मेरा वीडियो अच्छा नहीं बनता है, उसके लिए मेरी बुराई नहीं होती है, वो इग्नोर हो जाता है. मेरी सिर्फ और सिर्फ बड़ाई अच्छे वीडियोस पे होती है. यही मंत्रा याद रखना चाहिए हमें. गलतियों पे आपको लोग याद नहीं रखेंगे, लोग आपकी जीत पे आपको याद रखेंगे, आपके विंस पे आपको याद रखेंगे. एंड यू ओनली नीड द लास्ट लाफ. थैंक यू.
Thank you so much. Taking into consideration that now India, for at least the Youth 20 part, has started its journey. My next question is to Ajay ji. As convener of the Y20 Secretariat, how do you see the Y20's vision unfolding for India, and how is your team preparing for it?
Thank you so much, Trishti ji. As all of you are aware, I come here as a replacement to David Beckham ji, who is India's cyclist and was supposed to be here. So I understand that you'd want to listen to him and not me. So I apologize for this last minute change, but nevertheless, a question has been posed to me. So what I've seen over the past 8.5 years is that there has been an ever-increasing participation of the youth in India, be it in sports, in governance, in policy, in health, in innovation and technology. And all of this has happened because of the vision of the Prime Minister, who's ensured that youth are equal partners in India's development journey. And that is where, the strength of India lies. And talking about entrepreneurship, because Prashant ji gave an example of Carrie Minati, I don't know if, I see a lot of young faces naturally, and this is also an example of youth entrepreneurship, but outside of India in Africa. How many of us here have memes on our phones? All of us have some memes, right? How many of us remember that meme that came about 1.5 years ago called Rasode Mein Kaun Tha? You remember, right? So there's this very funny story, an incident that happened in June last year, and I was in Africa, in the small country called Rwanda, in its capital, and Akash Jha, who's our Secretary Programs, he was there with me. And we were checking into the hotel for the Commonwealth Youth Summit. And there was this native African lady. I could see कि वो कुछ बोलना चाह रही है हमसे, बट शी जस्ट वांटेड टू मेक श्योर कि हम इंडियन ही हैं, कहीं पाकिस्तानी या बांग्लादेशी या श्रीलंकन नहीं है. तो she saw our passport, and then she asked me, and my friend Smriti, who was from Bangalore, she was there with me. And then she looks at me after making sure I am an Indian. She says, "रसोड़े में कौन था? तुम थे? ये थी? कौन था?" So, this is a real story, you know. This happened about 6 months ago. And I asked her as to how does she know all of this? So she said that she has a friend who stays in Kigali, Vijay sir, who is a Gujarati businessman who manufactures aluminium ingots by the day but earns more making YouTube reels at night. So she started, you know, using all these memes, and, you know, 4 days later, we were about to leave Kigali, and all of us had a great time. And I could see that she and her friends were up to something. You know, there's a skit coming up. So she was there at the reception desk, and there were 4 friends of her. So मैंने कहा कि I'm checking out, Christabel, I have to leave. Thank you so much for your hospitality. And then she says, परदेसी परदेसी जाना नहीं. And then उसकी सहेलियाँ थी पीछे, वो उठ गई और दिल पे रख के मुझे कहती हैं, हमें छोड़ के. So, you know, this is, and this again they said is what they learned from their Gujarati friend. You know, so India's entrepreneurial spirit knows no bounds, right? It's limitless. And the Prime Minister and the government has ensured that there is channelization of this energy so that India can grow and become a Vishwaguru, as the Prime Minister has said. Now, what is the Y20's vision? I think the Y20's mission or vision is to ensure that the next 8 to 9 months, we make this a mass movement, right? We want to get into every district, every tehsil, every village, to take the very idea of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam to the masses of this country, right? Vijay sir is here and he looks after Foreign Affairs Department. And I'm particularly interested in health sector because that was where my thesis in my master's was. Again, an example from my Commonwealth days. So this friend of mine from Ghana, during COVID, before the vaccines were approved and before we started Vaccine Maitri, said, Ajay, I want to thank you for the vaccines that you've given us. And I said that, look, we've not yet started exporting vaccines. What are you talking about? So she said that I'm not talking about the COVID vaccines. I am talking about the yellow fever vaccines, which are saving hundreds and thousands of African lives every day, which are manufactured in India. So, you know, these stories, these incredible stories that show the extraordinary prowess of India's youth. I think this is what we want to take to the masses, and I hope through the support and you know, the strength of the youth that we have here, we will be able to do so in the coming 7 to 8 months. Thank you, Drishti.
Thank you so much. My next question is to Aman Giriji. How would you reflect, since we spoke about all the memes and these great anecdotes from Ajay's trip to Africa, how would you reflect upon the role of social media in bringing democratic transformation in India?
Democratic transformation in India. See, Digital India, an initiative, or I'd say a new thing, not just a new thing, but a new thought, which was brought up by this government, which was brought up by our Prime Minister, Narendra Modi ji, into our culture, which was not so new, but very new in terms of trend, which came to us. And it was like a boom which happened. The social media which we are talking about, the memes, the reels, the trends which we go through, which we see each and every day, the changing trends, this is all possible due to Digital India. Everything was there. The whole infrastructure was there. The mechanism was there. But why were we so behind in this? Why did it happen? Why did it happen on a very large scale only after 2014? We have to think upon this. I would like to thank our Prime Minister Sahab, our government, for this. And especially to improve our mentality, to work upon our mentality that India first, Indians first. Because whatever we do, whatever we aspire to do, if we want to be the best, we have to think, we have to be mentally prepared that we are going to be the best. We have to do it in a way which comes out to be the best. That's why I like to say thank you again and again. Social media, Facebook पे जाइए, Instagram पे जाइए, Twitter पे जाइए, कोई भी political चीज़ होती है उस पर होती है, कोई भी Bollywood से related चीज़ होती है उस पर होती है. इतना ज़्यादा हम लोग आज के समय पे connected हैं. तमिलनाडु से, कर्नाटका से लेकर कन्याकुमारी से लेकर हमारे जम्मू कश्मीर तक हर एक चीज़, एक चींटी भी हिलती है तो हमें खबर में होता है. इस चीज़ के लिए मैं पुनः सबको धन्यवाद.
Thank you so much. I'm going to bother Prashant sir again. When we talk about the startup ecosystem in India, we're known to be the third largest of that ecosystem. As you mentioned, with over 100 unicorns and more than 80,000 Atmanirbhar startups thriving in the country, what has led to this transformation according to you?
Well, I think क्या हुआ है वो तो बाद में बात करते हैं, हो क्या गया ये बताता हूँ. So, a friend of mine, he was scared of being an entrepreneur 5 years ago क्योंकि लगता है शादी के रिश्ते नहीं आएंगे. Literally उसका सबसे बड़ा entrepreneur बनना तो चाहता था, कहते हैं यार पापा मम्मी मना करते हैं तो रिश्ते ही नहीं आएंगे सब. The code word of entrepreneur 5-10 years ago was unemployed. आप unemployed हो इसलिए आप entrepreneur हो, right? Now the thing is, आज के टाइम में ज्यादातर मैट्रिमनी वेबसाइट पे entrepreneur word से सर्च किया जाता है. This is how country has transformed in 5 years. Now what has led to this transformation? Multiple things. See, every time entrepreneurship flourishes whenever there is a new platform which is created. Internet allowed for a lot of web companies to come. iPhone and Android allowed a lot of app companies to come. Similarly, there is always a new infrastructure which is getting built. Right now, that infrastructure could be genomics. If I were to take a plunge right now, I would think either in terms of genomics. अभी में 3 साल पहले ही हमारी पूरी की पूरी genomics complete हुई है. It's a great field to put your mind and energy into. Then the blockchain. I'm not talking about crypto. I'm talking about blockchain. Blockchain as a technology which allows ledgers to be immutable could also be a great place for people to look at. I'm just suggesting things which people would want to hear and learn more about. Similarly, there are hundreds of new infrastructure, AI and ML, artificial. You guys are seeing what's happening in India, right? In the world right now, right? Because of ChatGPT and also because of the generative AI creation. A lot of it is not actually coding. A lot of it is maths. And we Indians are great at maths. Artificial intelligence has very little to do then with coding than with maths and statistics. Please understand. And this is where our strength lies. मेरे हिसाब से, in the next, as I've said, there are going to be multiple. And another thing which has happened is, अगर आज के टाइम में आप entrepreneur हो, and it goes on your resume that you have tried something, the MNCs, whether you are successful or you could not make that as successful is separate. MNCs are going to value you slightly more only. कि आपने कोशिश करी, आपने एक बार ओनर्स हैट पहनकर कुछ चलाने की कोशिश करी. That itself adds value to your career, adds value to your resume rather than decrease it.
Thank you so much. I'm going to square back to Ajay. Ajay, because we are working in the same team, I know that you're a sports enthusiast. What transformation you've seen in the last 8 years in terms of, sports architecture, sports policy, and all the ancillary issues around it? What are your views on it? How do you perceive of it?
Thank you, Trishti, and I'm surprised that you know about my affiliation for sports, and that is where I see my future in, and that is sports administration. So thank you for this question. But before that, I'd like to tell Prashantji that there are people like me who are not good at maths. Some of us come from law backgrounds and find maths particularly tough, which left us with no option but to pursue law. Nevertheless, I think that we're in an era where there's a sporting revolution that is going on. I'm sure that there must be many sports enthusiasts here. And if you would have followed the policy changes that have happened over the past 8.5 years, these are truly remarkable. These are incredible, right? There's something called the TOP scheme, yeah, Target Olympic Podium scheme, right? There's this weightlifter who won silver medal from Manipur. And during COVID, she got injured, yeah? And of course, we know that the Olympics in Tokyo had to be postponed by a year. So what happened was that this weightlifter sent a communication from her home to Delhi that aisa ho gaya hai, and if I don't get my injury treated and I don't get the rehabilitation done by time, then I am not competing in Olympics. And she was a sure shot medal winner. Overnight, this communication was heard. Next day, there was a special aircraft sent. She was carried to Delhi, then taken to the United States for treatment, then the rehabilitation happened, and she won us the silver in the Olympics. This is the extent of change that is happening, right? I remember talking to Bhavani Devi, who's an Indian fencer. She's the first fencer ever to compete in the Olympics. And not only is she the first fencer ever, she is also the first women Indian fencer to compete in the Olympics, right? So that makes this revolution even more important for our country. And I asked her, what changes do you see with the present government, and what is this revolution that everyone's talking about? She said that, Ajay, in Kiran Rijiju ji and in Anurag Singh Thakur ji, I had a training partner and a friend. Right? The level of comfort that our youth affairs and sports ministers have built with our athletes is ensuring, as the Honourable Minister mentioned in the earlier session, that we've been able to give our best Olympics and Commonwealth and Asian Games and athletic performances ever. Right? And, naturally, if you talk about the ministers, then the question that I often ask these sportspersons is, how have your interactions with the Prime Minister been? And I particularly remember this interaction with Savita Punia, who's the Indian hockey goalkeeper and the captain, and truly a remarkable athlete, par excellence when it comes to fitness, especially because she's been playing for 15 years now, from 2007 to 2022. And she said, how many of us here are hockey fans, before? Anyone here who watches hockey? There's not a single one? Yeah, okay, 4, 5, okay. Do you watch women's hockey? Yeah? So the Indian hockey team, after 36 years, competed in the Olympics in, I think, 2016. And unfortunately, we didn't do too well, but our performances started increasing and rising by the day. For the first time, India's women's hockey team reached a bronze medal match in Olympics. That was last year. The match was against Great Britain. So we were behind them. We came back. It was 3-3, and then it became, I think, 4-3. That is what the end storyline was, 4-3, and we lost by a whisker. It was a very, very tight match. She said that, Ajay ji, we were heartbroken. Being at this greatest sporting spectacle ever, the Olympics, the women's team, right? The hockey men's team has already won the bronze, and we were there to compete and trying to get one more medal. And she said we were heartbroken. And that is when the Prime Minister called that team, right? And because we were talking about memes earlier, you must have seen that meme wherein the Prime Minister says, "आप लोग रोना बंद करिए," है ना? वो है ना? So वो जो meme है, वो इस phone call का है. because our girls were, they couldn't believe what happened, after the remarkable comeback that they did. But she said that after the Prime Minister's call, we thought that the entire country was standing right behind us and was proud of our performance. So this is the change that has happened, and change always happens from the top and it flows to the ground. So, as a sports enthusiast, as someone in sports policy, I think we are truly in an era of change, and we are knocking on the doors of being a sports superpower, and perhaps in 15 years' time, you'll see us in the top 5 Olympics tally for sure.
I would like to add something, since it's related to sports. मेरा सबसे पहला वेंचर जब मैं इंडिया आया था वो ईज़मा ट्रिप नहीं था. I started a company called as indiakhelo.com. इंडिया खेलो का ऑब्जेक्टिव ये था कि हम स्कूल्स में जाते थे और बच्चों के लिए स्पोर्ट्स एंड फिटनेस की रिपोर्ट कार्ड बनाते थे. उनका अराउंड 11 बैटरी ऑफ टेस्ट कंडक्ट करते थे और उनका स्पोर्ट्स एंड फिटनेस की रिपोर्ट कार्ड बनाते थे. आइडिया ये था कि जितने हम मैथ्स के लिए कॉम्पिटिटिव है उतने हम फिटनेस और स्पोर्ट्स के लिए क्यों नहीं हो सकते. हम बच्चों को रैंकिंग क्यों नहीं देने लग जाते, जिससे उनके पेरेंट्स बोले बेटा ये शर्मा जी ये बेटे को देखो. इस पर्सपेक्टिव से हमने बनाया था. बट कंपनी ज़रा चली नहीं, क्योंकि जिस भी स्कूल हम जाते बोलते तुम IITians ये क्या स्पोर्ट्स पढ़ाने की कोशिश करो, फिजिक्स और मैथ्स पढ़ा लो. ज़्यादातर प्रिंसिपल से हमें ये सुनने को मिलता था. कंपनी ज़रा चली नहीं और 10 साल के बाद में हमारी गवर्नमेंट ने वही इनिशिएटिव उसी तरीके से वही काम किया इन द नेम ऑफ खेलो इंडिया. सेम टू सेम काम.
Thank you so much. Moving ahead, I would pose one question to Amanji. What is your message for the youth going forward?
When I came here, I was well prepared for this answer. But after this, what we've had here, a beautiful thing which happened, which I always have this thing in mind, जो आपने अभी बोली थी, to be more curious than to be more cautious. And that is the motto, that is the mool mantra to move forward in life no matter what. That is what I am trying to do. I was elected on 6th November in the re-election, and since then, and it's my pleasure, it's my whatever I can say for that, that I am being mentored by the party, by such great mentors who are like the mentors at this point of time for the whole world, who are teaching to be the gurus, who are teaching yoga, who are leading with their soft power in the whole world. I'm being taught and mentored by them. I'm having this privilege. But again, I'll say to each and every one of you, catch the representatives, pakadiye hum log ko, ज़्यादा include होइए, to be inclusive with the politics, be inclusive with the policy making, which is the main topic. Be inclusive with the main policy making. सब लोग को अपने क्षेत्र के लोगों को पकड़िए, उनसे बैठिए, बात करिए, उनको अपनी बात नहीं सुने तो मनवाइए. हम लोग आप ही के लिए हैं. आज मैं यहाँ पे बैठा हूँ. You can be the best example of tomorrow. Why not now? मैं आज आप लोगों से फिर वही कहूँगा जो अभी सर ने कहा, to be more curious than being cautious. Keep moving forward. There'll be failures, but failures will always teach us something, and they'll teach us to move forward in every way possible.
Thank you so much. I think I would want to ask the same question to Prashant ji also, that what is your message to the youth? Everybody who's here and everybody who's watching.
Yeah, so basically there is a huge difference between being good and being a legend. There's a huge difference. आप अगर एक रबर बैंड को खींचो, आप 80% तक रबर बैंड को खींच लोगे with X energy. 80 से 90% तक खींचने में 2X energy लगेगी. फर्क समझ रहे हो? There is a huge difference between being good and being a legend. And to become a legend, you have to invent ways to put yourself under pressure. Never be complacent. अपने ऊपर खुद प्रेशर बनाना पड़ता है. मैं एग्जांपल देता हूं. I met Mr. Anil Kumble in year 2008 in Bangalore, sir, playing a regular local match. एक लोकल गली क्रिकेट टाइप का मैच खेल रहे थे अनिल कुंबले जी, जो इंडिया टीम में खेलते हैं उस टाइम पर। मैच खत्म होने के बाद में मैंने पूछा, सर मे आई अंडरस्टैंड आप यहां पे क्या कर रहे हैं? दिस इज हाउ यू बिकम लेजेंड। लिसन टू हिज आंसर केयरफुली। उन्होंने बोला, प्रशांत, मैं इंटरनेशनल मैचेस में कितने भी चौके छक्के खा लूं, मेरे पे कोई प्रेशर नहीं है। यहां पे मुझे 2 छक्के लग गए, कितना नाम खराब होगा मेरा। दिस इज द प्रेशर ही क्रिएटेड ऑन हिमसेल्फ टू बिकम मिस्टर अनिल कुंबले। अंडरस्टैंड द डिफरेंस बिटवीन बीइंग गुड एंड बीइंग अ लेजेंड।
Thank you so much. I would also request our mentor, Vijay sir, to kindly throw some light on how youth will play an important role, not just in charting the Y20 discourse, but also ahead in the challenging times, because everybody is looking to us. From being an inward-looking country to now everybody looking at us, how do you perceive of this?
I think it has created a great opportunity for each one of us, that India is actually becoming a center of attraction. May it is a crisis situation like COVID, may it is a crisis like Russia-Ukraine war, maybe it is environment, climate change. People are looking at us, what India stands for. Previously, we used to look at others, and this perception change has created enormous opportunity as well as responsibility for each one of us. And therefore, I think whatever we do, we need to think in that respect, that how our actions will be perceived, not only by the people in this country, but by the entire world. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. With this, we come to the conclusion of this particular panel discussion. I would like to thank all our panelists for being with us, for accepting our invitation, and patiently staying with us through all the questions and the inquisitions that I actually threw their way. Perhaps this session is coming to an end, but this is just a beginning for India, because we are the harbingers of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. One earth, one family, one future. I call upon all of you to partake and be a part of Y20's engagement process, to be partners with us in whatever we do henceforth. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shri Ravalji, for moderating this panel discussion, how India can harness its youth population to be a superpower. And it was actually a constructive panel discussion we had. And I would like to thank Dr. Vijay Chothaiwala ji, Prashant Pitti ji, Aman Giri ji, Ajay Kashyap ji, and Shri Raval. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for valedictory remarks, may I request Shri Nitesh Kumar Mishra ji, Joint Secretary, Youth Affairs, Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, Government of India. Sir, please.
Namaskar and good evening to all. I'm delighted to be present here with the dignitaries and young friends. India's G20 presidency is a watershed moment in the history as it seeks to play an important role by finding pragmatic global solutions for the well-being of all. And in doing so, manifest the true spirit of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, or the world is one family. For India, the G20 presidency also marks the beginning of Amrit Kal, the 25-year period beginning from 75th anniversary of its independence on 15th August 2022, leading up to the centenary of its independence towards a futuristic, prosperous, inclusive, and developed society, distinguished by a human-centric approach at its core. India's decades-long championing of the cause of Global South has allowed us to become a leader of developing countries. It aims to promote ways to engage youth in becoming more actively involved in making positive contributions to their communities. Y20 holds a special significance for us, as India has the largest youth population in the world, with 1 out of every 4 among the 15 to 29 years age group globally being Indian. Youth in India constitute 1/5 of India's total population, so the task of shaping a more sustainable future for all undoubtedly depends on our youth today. Most of the global sustainable development goals have youth as a focus area, emphasizing the importance of the young population and the need for investing in them. Youth 20, being the official youth engagement group of G20, provides a platform that allows youth to express their vision and ideas on the G20 priorities. India will bring young leaders from all across the globe together and discuss ideas for a better tomorrow and draft an agenda for action. In India, the priority of government, led by our Honourable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, is to build everlasting links among the youth across the world. Under Prime Minister's leadership, our outreach to the youth has taken new dimension and evolved in a way where we are moving towards the concept of global India. A holistic and inclusive framework is needed to address these complex issues with integrated approaches led by youth. There is much more to India's G20 presidency, which would be revealed with time after it leads us into a prosperous future. Young people are determined to drive positive change and play the role of guardians of our earth in order to ensure equitable, sustainable, and inclusive development for all. Young women and men act as essential partners for bringing change, presenting an opportunity to raise awareness on challenges faced by the world. It is time to empower youth to explore innovative ideas, to tackle development challenges from equitable urban development, based on our civilizational ethos that sees the youth as an enabler of shared peace and prosperity. We look forward to a successful Y20. With this initiative, we hope to build a nation where the youth are vibrantly active, hope for peace and prosperity automatically emerges. It would also provide a unique opportunity to showcase India's progress and developments as well as its rich cultural heritage and diversity. My sincere and heartfelt thanks to organizers and the committed group of Y20 organizers worldwide in making the Y20 Curtain Raiser event a grand success. Thanks to all of you.
Thank you, sir. Shri Nitish Kumar Mishra ji, Joint Secretary, Youth Affairs, Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, Government of India. And I will now invite Director, Youth Affairs, Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, Government of India, Shri Akashvani Singh ji, for a word of thanks. Please, sir.
Thank you. Namaskar and a very good evening to all of you. It is indeed a matter of great honor and privilege for me to propose the vote of thanks here. On behalf of the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports and the Department of Youth Affairs, we express our sincere thanks and gratitude to the Honourable Minister, Shri Anurag Singh Thakur ji, for sparing his valuable time today for this Curtain Raiser event. It is his vision and constant guidance that inspires all of us in our efforts for a better and an enriching youth engagement. I would also like to thank the Secretary who was here in the first session, the Department of Youth Affairs, for her constant guidance and support in organizing this Curtain Raiser. It is her constant support and guidance that motivates us in planning and executing all our events in a better way and more efficient way. I would also like to extend my sincere thanks to Shri Vijay Chothaiwale ji for his valuable advice and suggestions in planning this Curtain Raiser and the Y20 events during our presidency. I would also like to thank Shri Anmol Sovit ji and his team from Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee Research Foundation for their help in making this event a great success. I would like to thank all the officials of the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, my colleagues, the officials of the Ministry of External Affairs in all their efforts in making this event a success. I thank all the friends from the media who came here today and covered the program. Thank you. Last but not the least, a big thank you for all of you who came here today and attended this program and made this a curtain raiser a great success. Thank you, all of you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Shri Pankaj Kumar Singh Ji, Director Youth Affairs, Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, Government of India. And ladies and gentlemen, I'll now request you all to kindly rise for the national anthem. अब राष्ट्रगान होगा, आप सभी से निवेदन, कृपया आप लोग अपने अपने स्थान पर खड़े हो जाएं। बहुत धन्यवाद। बहुत धन्यवाद। जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता, पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंग, विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा, तब शुभ नामे जागे, तब शुभ आशीष मागे, गाहे तब जय गाथा, जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता, जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे। Thank you so much. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आप सभी का। And with this, we conclude our today's event, that is curtain raiser event, Y20 Summit India. And as you all know, there are a series of events lined up till November 30th, 2023. So please do join us. इसी तरह के सभी प्रोग्राम्स में आप लोग शामिल होते रहिए, जैसा कि माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने भी कहा है। आप सभी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद इस कार्यक्रम में जुड़ने के लिए। नमस्कार एंड प्लीज जॉइन अस फॉर द डिनर। थैंक यू सो मच। नमस्कार बोल दिया जी। जय हिंद, जय भारत।
Hello.
All the participants are requested to take your dinner and proceed your journey.
सभी सम्मानित अतिथियों से अनुरोध है